Hello, my dear future doctors. Welcome back to Quick NEET Botany. From today onwards, we are going to start 45 days crash course for NEET Botany. Let us start with the unit Diversity of Living World. Diversity of the Living World. In this, I'm going to start with the chapter The Living World. The Living World chapter. You know, the living world is amazing. There are wide variety of organisms that are distributed. Wide variety of organisms that are distributed. While discussing this living world chapter, I am going to discuss a term that is biodiversity. What is meant by biodiversity? The same definition we can say. Variety of organisms that are distributed. If you see, there are 1.7 to 1.8 million species were known till now. Some of them are plant species, some of them are animal species. 1.7 to 1.8 million species which are known. But is it possible to study about all these species as a single group? No, not at all. So that for their study in an easy manner, there are certain methods. There is a proper method to study about all these organisms. Then, if you see, they are surviving in wide variety of habitats. The habitat is different. Sometimes it may be like a high temperature region, sometimes it may be excessive cold condition, etc. So to study about these organisms, we can classify them into different groups. So here, grouping of organisms based on similarities and dissimilarities with respect to characteristics of living organisms. Here suppose there is a group we classified. The organisms which are having more similarities, we placed them in a group. If we study the characteristics of such a group, we can apply those characteristics for all living organisms in that group. Now, in this, what is the branch? This method is known as what? Classification. The branch which deals with the classification is known as the branch of biology which deals with the classification of organisms is known as taxonomy. This is the branch. Okay. What are the major aspects of this taxonomy? The major aspects are, the first one is characterization, identification, nomenclature, and classification. What is meant by characterization? Listing of all observable characters. Listing of all observable characters is known as characterization. What is meant by identification? If we observe a new organism in a particular area, we should have the sufficient knowledge about that, whether it is entirely new or already known organism. Okay, either it is entirely new, we should know about that organism, whether it is entirely new or already known. This is known as identification. Suppose if it is already known organism, need not to provide any name because it is having the name already. But if it is entirely new organism, we should provide a particular name. It should be proper scientific name. So, providing a proper scientific name to identified organism. In this nomenclature, there are certain rules. Let's see. There are certain rules of nomenclature. What are those rules? Let's see. If you see, while naming a plant, we should follow binomial nomenclature method. Binomial nomenclature method, which was widely used by Linnaeus. In that binomial nomenclature method, name, scientific name of an organism with two letters. Two words. Not letters here. There are two words should be given with the two words. The first name denotes generic name, genus, and the second one is specific epithet, species. This is binomial nomenclature method. If you see, for plants, the rules of ICBN we should follow. What is meant by ICBN? International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. That is ICBN. If it is animal, if it is plant, for plants we should follow the rules of ICBN. If it is animal, ICZN, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, like that. So, if you see, biological names are generally, or these botanical or scientific names, or these biological names are generally in Latin language. Why they use Latin language? Because this is a dead language. It is not the own language of any country. This is a dead language, and they should be written in italics. And they should be in italics. And one more thing is, they are Latinized or derived from Latin, irrespective of their origin. Irrespective of their origin. isn't it? And here already we have discussed it. No? The first word is denoting what? The first word is genus. And the second word is what? That is specific epithet, or the second word is the species. Isn't it? Genus and species. These are the two words, or we can say generic name as well as specific epithet. And both these names, generic name and a specific name, both these words or both these names, should be underlined. They should be underlined separately when they are handwritten on the paper. When they are handwritten, both they should be underlined separately. Why? Because if we underline them, then we can indicate the Latin origin, or they should be printed in italics. They should be printed in italics. Why all such things are needed? To specify their Latin origin. We should do this. And generic name, it starts with, one second. The generic name starts with capital letter. It starts with capital letter or uppercase, we can say. And the specific epithet or specific name or epithet starts with, it is in small letters. Generic name in capital letters, specific epithet in small letters. I can give you the textbook example for us here. You can see that example. Example here I am taking, that is Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica. It is handwritten, no? So that I am underlining both the names separately. If it is printed, we should print it in italics. Separately, we should underline it. Here, Mangifera is generic name and indica is a specific epithet. And one more thing, if you see, name of the author. Name of the author. Here, author means who discovered that species for the first time. It appears after the specific name or after the specific epithet. After the specific epithet. Alright. So here, but the name should not be in complete full name. In the form of, it should be in the form of abbreviation or in abbreviated form, in the form of abbreviation. Here, I can give you the example. Here the example is Mangifera, which is the generic name, indica, which is the specific epithet, and a Lin, which is the short name or abbreviated form of the author Linnaeus. He first discovered that species for the first time. Next. Here, nomenclature done. What is meant by classification? Already we have discussed what is meant by classification. That is, it is not at all possible to study about all such organisms in the same group. So, classification is needed for easy study. What is meant by classification? Classification is nothing but, already we have discussed, Classification is nothing but grouping of organisms. Grouping of organisms based on similarities and dissimilarities or differences, we can say, with respect to characters. With respect to characters of living organisms. This is nothing but classification. So here easily observable characters are useful for classification. For example, we can easily recognize the groups such as plants or animals, particularly in those animals, dogs, cats or insects, etc. At the same time, in plants, we can differentiate them into algae, bryophytes, etc. And we can